Yo, what's going on, guys? CultofMush back at it with an impromptu edition of top 5 best PC hardware deals of the week. Was browsing around and realized that a lot of sick deals are live right now. I don't know how long some of these deals will be in stock for, so I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to cover these in a video. I'll still be doing a video on Black Friday, but some of these deals are really freaking good, and I figured that a lot of you guys would probably want to take advantage of them. So without further ado, let's get right into this with number 5. Number 5, you can pick up the Steam controller and a carrying case over on Amazon for $35, which is a really good deal considering the Steam controller alone usually goes for like $50 and then the carrying case is like another $20. Here you get both of them for $35. Now, I'm gonna be honest, the Steam controller is not my cup of tea, and it seems like for most it's a very mixed bag. A lot of people really love it, they swear by the Steam controller, other people are on my side. I personally just prefer the Xbox One controller, but I do know there are people that want to try out the Steam controller, and it is definitely much more customizable than the Xbox One controller. There's just a lot of crazy stuff you can do with it, and you can play PC-centric games like a Civilization with the Steam controller. It just requires a little bit of customization, and the fact that this controller offers that level of customization for a lot of people, that's very appealing. I'm on the side of when I want to play a game with a controller, I just want to plug it in and play, but I know there's a significant portion of you out there that want the most amount of customization with everything you do with PC gaming, and the Steam controller definitely gives you that in the controller form. Moving on to number 4, you can pick up the OCZ TRION 150 480GB solid state drive, listed at $110. There's a $20 off promo code that ends in 15 hours, so you can get a 480GB SSD for only $90. That's a very good deal. I have seen this SSD at that price before, but that was a while ago. And regardless, a 480GB SSD for $90 is pretty insane. The only thing is that SSDs is something that's constantly going down in price, so it's not something essential where it's like, oh my god, I have to pick this up right now, because you're gonna see this price again. But I just think it's a very good price for a 480GB SSD that it was worth a mention. This SSD isn't as fast as like the 850 EVO, but given its price and dollar per gigabyte, it does beat a lot of the Samsung drives. So for that, it is very good. And when you're picking up a 480GB SSD for only $90, you really can't complain. But like I said, that promo offer ends in 15 hours, so jump on that ASAP if you're interested. Next up, number 3 is an insane deal on RAM, the GeIL. I believe I pronounced that right, but don't quote me on that. The EVO 16GB to 8GB 6 of DDR4 RAM running at 2400 MHz is available for $76, and there's a 15% off promo code that'll knock it down to about $65, which for 16GB of DDR4 RAM, that is really freaking good. I mean, I really don't have much more to add on this other than the fact that DDR4 RAM is typically a little bit more expensive than DDR3 RAM. 16GB from what I've seen usually runs around $80, and $80 is usually on the cheaper side, to be honest, at least from what I've noticed over the last few months. So $65 for 16GB of RAM, that is very, very good. And if you're looking for some DDR4 RAM, it's 16GB, that's a very good amount to have, and for this kind of a price, it's a winner. The final 2 things on this list are both from ASUS. They're both video cards. First up, number 2 is the ASUS GeForce GTX 1060. This is the 6GB model. Typically, this GPU is a little expensive, around $280. Right now on Newegg, it's available for $260, and there's a $30 mail-in rebate knocking it down to $230, which this is by far the cheapest price I've seen on this 1060. This GPU is very good for 1080p gaming. At 1440p, it does struggle a little bit, but it can manage. But I think most people that have their eyes on a GPU like this, you're looking at 1080p gaming, and it performs very, very well at that. And finally, number 1 is the ASUS GeForce GTX 1070. This is an 8GB video card. It comes to the market at $395. There's a $30 off mail-in rebate, so that'll knock it down to $365, and you get a free copy of Watch Dogs 2. So if you value that at around $40 at least, you're getting this GPU for $325 after all is said and done, and $325 for a GTX 1070 is pretty freaking great. And even if you disregard the mail-in rebate in this deal, because I know a lot of you guys don't like to mess with them, for $395 to get this GPU and Watch Dogs 2, I would still consider that a very good deal, because it's hard to find a 1070 for under $400 before a mail-in rebate. In this instance, you have one for $395 before the mail-in rebate, and you get a free copy of Watch Dogs 2. So is this a top tier deal without the mail-in rebate? Probably not, but it's still a 1070 under 400 bucks with a free game that hasn't even been released yet. I know it's Watch Dogs 2, and I know it's probably not your most anticipated game for the rest of the year, but at the very least, you can sell it to some poor soul that is very excited for it, or you can play it. Hey, I've heard Watch Dogs 2 is actually pretty good on consoles. Maybe it'll be okay on PC. Regardless, you still get the GTX 1070, which is an amazing video card, and even at 1440p gaming, the GTX 1070 does really well. It pushes the higher end games at really solid frame rates and settings, and to get this kind of performance that the 1070 offers for under $400, yes, it's still a little steep of a price, but the performance for that price I think heavily outweighs it. For $395 or $365 after the mail-in rebate, you get the GPU, you get Watch Dogs 2, a very nice deal for those of you in the market for a 1070. So that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Some really good deals before Black Friday. These are more likely to stay in stock for as long as they're available. With some of the Black Friday deals I've noticed on Newegg especially, they go out of stock very quickly. But if you're interested in any deal this week, I would just say pick it up ASAP. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have a request for a future video, you can leave it in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.